I never imagined I'd end up in the crosshairs of our HOA president's vendetta, but here I am. My name is James Carter, and I've lived in Maple Grove Estates for 5 years without a hitch. That all changed when Susan Reynolds was elected as our Homeowners Association president 6 months ago. From the moment she took charge, it was obvious Susan saw her role not as community service, but as her personal fiefdom. Susan, in her mid-50s, sported a flawlessly maintained bob haircut, refreshed every 3 weeks like clockwork. Her schedule was as rigid as her demeanor, and she patrolled the neighborhood every morning at 8:30 sharp, clipboard in hand, cataloging every infraction with almost gleeful precision. Trash cans out 5 minutes past pickup time? Violation. Grass half an inch too long? Violation. Holiday decorations up a day past the allowed period? You bet that's a violation. I flew under her radar until last month when I committed the cardinal sin of planting purple hydrangeas instead of the HOA-approved blue ones. Within 24 hours, I received a notice demanding I remove the unauthorized flora immediately or face a $50 daily fine. When I explained that soil acidity would eventually turn them blue anyway, Susan dismissed me with a wave. Rules are rules, James. We can't have people planting whatever colors they please. It'd be chaos. I complied. Fighting over flowers felt trivial, but I could tell Susan relished the control. From then on, she lingered near my property more often, as if itching to catch another slip-up. Little did I know, this was just the start of her bizarre obsession with micromanaging my life in the neighborhood. The real trouble began when I ordered a new laptop for my work-from-home job. I got a delivery notification saying the package had arrived, but my porch was empty. Thinking it might have been misdelivered or stolen, I contacted the delivery company, who confirmed it was handed to a property representative authorized to accept deliveries for the community. I knew exactly who it was. I called Susan, keeping my tone calm despite my growing irritation. Susan, did you happen to accept a package addressed to me today? Yes, I did. She replied with that smug satisfaction I'd come to recognize. As HOA president, I've implemented a new package security protocol. All deliveries are routed to my house for verification and proper distribution. It prevents theft and keeps our community's aesthetic integrity by eliminating unsightly packages on porches. I took a deep breath. Susan, that's not within the HOA's authority. You can't just intercept people's mail and packages. That's actually illegal. She laughed, as if I'd said something absurd. Don't be dramatic, James. I'm doing everyone a favor. You can pick up your package between 4 o'clock and 4:15 this afternoon. That's the designated pickup window. Unfortunately, I had a critical video conference scheduled during that exact time, which I explained. I'm sorry, but that doesn't work for me. I need my package now, and you had no right to take it in the first place. Susan's voice turned cold. Those are the hours. If you can't make it, you'll have to wait until tomorrow's window, same time. What Susan didn't know was that this wasn't just any package. Alongside my laptop, I'd ordered my monthly prescription medication, which required temperature-controlled handling and needed refrigeration within a specific time frame. The pharmaceutical company used tracking devices in these high-value, temperature-sensitive packages. I tried reasoning with her once more. Susan, this package contains time-sensitive medication that needs to be refrigerated. It's being tracked by the pharmaceutical company. Please, I need to pick it up now. Everyone has an excuse, James, she said with an exasperated sigh. If I make an exception for you, I'll have to make exceptions for everyone. Rules are rules. Realizing reasoning was pointless, I hung up and called the non-emergency police line to explain the situation. The dispatcher seemed familiar with similar complaints and said they'd send an officer to accompany me to Susan's house. Apparently, I wasn't the first neighbor to have issues with her overstepping. Officer Daniels met me outside my house 30 minutes later. He was professional but couldn't hide a slight-eye roll when I explained the situation. We've had other complaints about your HOA president, he admitted as we walked to Susan's house. Nothing this serious, though. When Susan opened her door and saw me with a police officer, her expression shifted from surprise to indignation to an odd, smug confidence. She crossed her arms and addressed the officer, ignoring me. Officer, I'm Susan Reynolds, president of Maple Grove Estates HOA. Is there a problem? Officer Daniels kept a neutral tone. Ma'am, I understand you're in possession of a package addressed to Mr. James Carter. He's here to retrieve it. Susan's chin jutted out defiantly. As HOA president, I've implemented a secure package acceptance policy. Residents can pick up deliveries during designated hours only. It's in our new bylaws. The officer shook his head slightly. Ma'am, regardless of HOA rules, intercepting and holding someone else's deliveries without permission is not legal. You need to return Mr. Carter's package immediately. Susan's face flushed. This is ridiculous. I'm providing a service to this community. Do you know how many packages get stolen these days? Be that as it may, Officer Daniels continued patiently. You cannot take someone else's mail or packages. That's a federal offense. Please return Mr. Carter's property. With visible reluctance, Susan disappeared into her house, returning moments later with a large box I recognized as my delivery. It had been opened and resealed with HOA-branded tape. My blood boiled. Did you open my package? I asked, already knowing the answer. All packages must be inspected to ensure they don't contain anything prohibited by HOA regulations, she replied, as if this was perfectly reasonable. Officer Daniels' eyebrows shot up. Ma'am, opening someone else's mail or packages is another serious offense. As they spoke, my phone buzzed with an alert from the pharmaceutical company's tracking app. Temperature threshold exceeded. Medication integrity may be compromised. I showed it to the officer, explaining that the medication might now be ruined due to Susan's interference. Things escalated quickly. The officer asked Susan if she had more packages belonging to other residents, and her hesitation spoke volumes. After obtaining a warrant, they found she'd turned her spare bedroom into a makeshift distribution center, filled with dozens of packages addressed to neighbors many opened. Among them were other temperature-sensitive medications, including insulin for Mrs. Thompson, the elderly woman down the street. There were also opened financial documents, birthday gifts with cards read and resealed, and even some items missing components. Susan was arrested on multiple charges: mail theft, tampering with mail, possession of stolen property, and interference with prescription medication delivery. As they led her to the police car, her face was pale, save for 2 bright spots of anger on her cheeks. You can't do this to me, she shouted, struggling against the handcuffs. I'm the HOA president. I was protecting this community. The story spread like wildfire. An emergency HOA meeting was called the next evening, where Susan appeared, released on bail, but looking far less polished. She faced a room of furious neighbors, many of whom had discovered their missing packages in police evidence photos. The board voted unanimously to remove her as president, effective immediately. The final blow came when the pharmaceutical company, whose tracked medication Susan had mishandled, pressed charges and sought damages for the compromised medications, totaling over $10,000. When the board secretary announced the vote tally stripping her of her position, Susan's face twisted in disbelief. You ungrateful people have no idea what I've done for this community, she said, her voice shaking with indignation. Without me, this place will fall into chaos. You'll beg me to come back when your property values plummet. But as she stood there, stripped of her clipboard and authority, no one believed her threats anymore.